In this video today, I'm going to show you how to create this. These are honey sriracha wings, and this is an air fryer edition. So I use my air fryer, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. This is a very popular appetizer, especially during the football season. So keep watching. I'm going to show you how to do this. So the very first thing you want to do is wash and dry your chicken. This is about, I think 15 pieces, about a half a pound of chicken wings. So the grocery list, of course, is going to be in the description box. You can go ahead and screenshot that and you'll have everything you need for the grocery store. So I'm actually using just a couple different ingredients. I am using about a teaspoon of each. I have a teaspoon of black pepper, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of Creole seasoning, 1 teaspoon of garlic and herb seasoning, and then I also have a all-purpose spicy seasoning from Kingsford. I forgot where I got these from, but I believe I got them from Kroger. And then I do have a dried herb, which is dried parsley, and it's again about a teaspoon of that. So I'm only doing about a teaspoon because I have, again, about 15 wings. If you are doing more wings, you want to transition to doing about a tablespoon, but you do not want to over season your wings because the sauce is going to have a lot of flavor in it. And if you do not want to do the wings, you can do whole wings or you can do chicken legs or chicken thighs. The recipe will work for any of those. So after you get it seasoned, the next thing you're going to do is just go ahead and combine it. Make sure that all the seasonings are on all of the chicken. I do not know why I used this small bowl, but try to get a bigger bowl and not try to make a mess like you see me doing right here. So after that, you are going to preheat your air fryer to 400 degrees for 10 minutes. Once it's preheated, you are going to spray the rack with oil. This is avocado oil. You can use whichever oil that you have. And then you are simply going to lay the chicken wings on the rack. Do not stuff them in here. They don't need to have a lot of room, but they do need a little bit of room just to breathe, but do not stack them on top of each other and do not smush them together. So there is a technique that I used. If you do exactly what I'm doing in this video, the chicken will fall off the bone. A lot of different videos, they use, I believe, baking powder. But I'm not going to use that because the air fryer is going to make the chicken tender, and normally that's used as a tenderizer. So after you get the chicken into the air fryer, you are going to cook it at 400 for the first 15 minutes. So now the next step, I'm going to show you how I created the honey sriracha sauce. It is very simple, and I'm going to try to show you as easy as possible so you can create it at home. So of course you need some raw unfiltered honey. That is one of the main things, is to get the raw and unfiltered. This is the kind that I'm using. I did not go to a grocery store to get this. I actually got this from a farmer in Georgia. So I used about a 1/4 cup of this honey. And at the end, when you're done making the sauce and you taste it, if you feel like it needs more honey, go ahead and add it. Some people like more sweet than spicy. Some people like more spicy than sweet. So after you get the honey into the bowl, the next thing you're going to do is grab some soy sauce. This is the kind that I used, and you're going to take two tablespoons of soy sauce, and you're going to put that into the container as well. So your salt will come from the soy sauce. So if you feel like it needs more salt, add more soy sauce. But keep in mind, you can add, but you cannot take away. So after you get the soy sauce into the container, the next thing you're going to do is add some rice wine vinegar. This is optional. This just helps break it down. And this is the kind that I'm using. I got this from Whole Foods. If you do not have rice wine vinegar and you have apple cider vinegar, you can use that for a substitution. Just use what you have. The next thing you're going to add, of course, is going to be the sriracha. You're going to do 1/4 cup of that. So you're going to do equal parts of honey and equal parts of sriracha. So if you make more, if you do a cup of sriracha, do a cup of honey. You know, if you do a 1/2 cup of honey to a half a cup of sriracha. So after that, you're just going to take a whisk, and it's going to be tough to mix at first, but then it'll loosen up and you'll see the color start to turn. After you get it mixed up with the whisk, you're going to just take a spoon and make sure that all of the honey at the bottom is mixed together. You just want to take it doesn't matter what kind of spoon that you have, but you'll fill it at the bottom. So you just want to mix it up and make sure that everything is well combined. So after you get done creating your honey sriracha sauce, what you're going to do is grab the chicken from the air fryer. At this point, it should have beeped in 15 minutes, and it's time for you to flip them. So they should look exactly like this, and you are simply just going to flip them over. So I'm sure I'm not the only person that likes their chicken cooked hard. People say cooked hard, but it actually just means crispy. And if you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, or if you ever been there, their chicken is not cooked. Like, most of the time it's not cooked. I don't think it was one time I ever went there and I didn't have to send my chicken back because it wasn't cooked all the way. So when I make chicken, I cook my chicken so it's very crispy and very tender. So this is the technique that I want you guys to follow when cooking in an air fryer. We're going to cook it at 400 degrees for the first 15 minutes. And then after we get them flipped, what we're going to do is we're going to drop the temperature to 380, and then we're going to cook them for another 7 minutes. So doing it this way will allow the moisture to stay into the chicken, and the chicken will be crispy and juicy at the same time. And like I said in other videos, the way that they keep the chicken crispy is by adding baking powder, cornstarch. And if you ever went to, well, of course, everybody probably went to a Japanese restaurant, a Korean restaurant, or something like that, and you order that chicken, their chicken is really crispy because they're using potato starch. So after you get it cooked for the remaining 7 minutes, you do not want to turn your air fryer off. So once you get it cooked for the other 7 minutes, you're going to take it out. It should look exactly like this. As you can see, it is very crispy, and you can kind of see that it's very juicy as well. The next thing you're going to do is take a bowl. You do need a bowl for this next step, because this is another technique, because we are going to toss the chicken into the sauce. A lot of restaurants, almost every restaurant does this. If you order like any wings or anything, they will toss it in a bowl. So you're just going to remove the chicken and put it in a bowl, and then you're going to take your sauce. Now, your sauce, you can add as much as you like. You can add as little as you like. But we're going to put these back in the air fryer. So you want to add a good amount of this sauce. You don't have to use all of it, but you want to add a good amount. And then you are simply going to toss the chicken in the bowl. Again, it is self-explanatory. I'm going to show you right here in the next clip exactly how I did it. But you want to prevent making a mess. So you just want to grab the bowl, and wherever the chicken goes, you want to follow it. So if it goes up, move the bowl up. If it goes back, move the bowl back. So I slowed it down right here so you guys can see. Pretty simple, pretty easy. So after you get the chicken tossed, you want to make sure that all the chicken is coated with the sauce. So it should look just like this before you put it back in the air fryer. And you're going to put it back in the air fryer at 380. So keep the same temperature. And then you're only going to leave it in for 5 minutes. So the 5 minutes will turn the wet sauce into a sticky sauce. And that's exactly what you want. So for this next step, when you put it back into the air fryer, normally I would line it with aluminum foil, but I didn't feel like doing it right now. But that is what you want to do before you place them back in. You do want to line your basket with aluminum foil. The mess is not that bad without it, but when it comes to anything dealing with like sauce and stuff like this, I try to keep the mess tamed. So you can do it with aluminum foil, or you can just put it back in like I'm doing now, and then go ahead and let it cook for another 5 minutes. And at this point, you can go ahead and grab your plating, because after the 5 minutes, you can let it cool for about 5 minutes after you take it out, because it will be hot. But it should look just like this. As you can see, it's sticky now, and it's still a wet sauce, but it's sticky, and that's what you want. So you want to grab your plate, because you are completely done, and now you are just going to plate it You can plate it however you want, but this is one of the plates that I have that is specifically for chicken wings. As you can see, it's oval, and you can plate this however you want to. So this is one platter. If you have more chicken, of course, you would get a bigger platter, or if you have aluminum pans, you can just make the chicken and then dump them in the aluminum pans. I'm pretty sure nobody would really care because they're gonna eat them anyways. And this is for people that like spicy and sweet, or like sweet and spicy. So again, this is very easy. I hope I made it as simple as possible because this is one of the easier recipes. And air fryers, you can make just about anything in the air fryer. So if you do not have one, you can still make this recipe. You just would have to use an oven, and you will use the same settings: 400 for 15 minutes, and then 380 for 7 minutes, and then 380 for 5 minutes. So after you get the chicken plated, you are going to take some toasted sesame seeds, and this is going to add an extra layer of flavor, and you are just going to sprinkle that on top. This is the garnish. If you do not want the sesame seeds, do not put the sesame seeds, but if you've never had it, I suggest that you try it, and you might like it. But if you don't, just go ahead and leave them off. So that is it. You have just created some honey sriracha wings in the air fryer. So let me know how you guys like this recipe, and I will see you in my next video.